Hi everyone, good afternoon, and thank you for attending Understanding Your Cloud Consumption for Optimization together with VBusiness and Ops and AWS. So this is Cristal Hernandez, Marketing Manager from VBusiness, and I will be your host for this afternoon session. So we hope everyone already had their lunch, and I know it's siesta time, so if you feel a little sleepy, so stretch out a little bit, grab your coffee and tea, and sit back as we give you an insightful session this afternoon. Okay, so before we present to you our speakers for today, so let me just quickly run through with the housekeeping rules. So I hope everyone can see my screen now. So if you have any questions to our speakers, so please do type it out on the question box that you can see on your screen. So it has a tab there. So please do type it out and we will have our live Q&A by the end of the session. Okay, so next. So also, if you want to raise your hand, feel free to do so we can unmute you. So if you feel that your question is too long to type or if it's too complex, so feel free to raise your hand by the end of the session so we can unmute you as well. Okay, so next, poll time. So before we begin, so we want to know you and your role better. So let me just quickly launch this poll. Okay. There you go. So what best explains your current role? So are you in business? So are you in sales, marketing, or in finance? Are you a technical person? So please do type it or click it rather. So are you a business decision maker? Or if others, you can also type it on the chat box so we can see your role. Okay, so answers are coming in right now. So let's just wait for a few more seconds before we close this poll. Okay, answers are coming in. 56% has voted, so let's just wait around 70% votes to come in. Okay, so I'm seeing answers. It's a mix of technical actually and others. So if others, please feel free to chat it out. We want to know you and your role better as well. Okay, so 77% has voted. We will close the poll in 3, 2, and 1. So let me just quickly close the poll and get back to my screen. Okay. All right. So I think majorities in others. So if you're others or if you're not a business or technical person, so please feel free to type out your role so that we can know you and your role better. Okay. So I hope everyone can see my screen. I'll be presenting now our first speaker for today. So she has an experience handling teams with a both in commercial and also for both AWS as well. So she's handling Cube Cloud Solutions in VBusiness, focusing on delivering cloud solutions for commercial sector. So let's all welcome Ms. Quina Ke. Hi, Ms. Quina. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, Sala, and good afternoon, everyone.
Hi, Ms. Quina. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay, so let me know if you see my screen now.
Yes, we can see it now.
Okay, so hi again, everyone. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for our session this afternoon. I'll be turning off my video for the meantime in order to make sure that our presentation would be smooth. Okay. So now, let me introduce myself. My name is Quina Ke. I'm one of the business unit head from VBusiness, handling the Cube team, which is our branding for providing AWS services to our customers. So we help clients start their smarter innovation journey from day one and beyond when they move into AWS. Okay, so our agenda for today. So I'll be talking about who is VBusiness, what are the cloud solutions powered by AWS, and what are the products on mobile and cloud platform that we have developed, also powered by AWS. And this one, our managed services, a new service that we are launching powered by NOps, so Cloud Ops Made Easy, which is all about our session for this afternoon. And what are the next steps that you can look forward to as you start your AWS journey. So a little about VBusiness. So we started out way back in 2013 as a department of our mother company, Value Line. So we started out as a department providing and offering solutions for customers for them to move into AWS. And during that time, the journey was challenging. It was not yet widely known here in the country. So in the Philippines, there's still a lot of legwork to do to help educate and help discuss to the client what is the value of moving into the cloud. But moving forward in 2016, we started out engaging more clients moving into the cloud. We become a standard technology partner in AWS, and we've also become a professional service partner in 2018, wherein we help not just the SMB market, but also enterprise and clients move their on-premise operations going into the cloud. So we also actually hold some events like Immersion Day, wherein we help customers get a foundational knowledge on what AWS is all about, what are the typical services that they can start with, and the usual use cases or case studies that they can apply for their company. And then in 2019, this is where from a department, we become a full-blown company called VBusiness. So we became also an advanced consulting partner. Working together with AWS, we've helped customers, help them align their goals, and also help them set their targets on how they can improve and optimize their operations, while at the same time achieving those savings and flexibility to operate in the cloud and provide better user experience for their customers. So we help both commercial and public sector clients. And then last year, we've also conducted a lot of webinars similar to this one. So you can look forward to this year that we'll be hosting more events that would help the customers get in line on the different kinds of services and solutions that we can apply for our business. So talking about Cube on a high level, so we provide an end-to-end solutions and services to our customers. So we provide cloud consulting. So as a consulting partner, we help clients identify what is the best cloud architecture design that they can apply for their business. We help them identify what are the pros and cons in moving into cloud, and help them planning out what are the non and mission critical applications that they can move into the cloud and really get the most out of the benefits of using cloud. We help them assess not just their infrastructure, but also their applications, since this is actually more of the challenges came in. We help the clients identify, depending on their application, how do we help them modernize it, and at the same time achieve those kinds of optimizations that they are targeting. And next is on the cloud security. Security is day one for both, is day zero, sorry, for both AWS and VBusiness. So it's very important for us to make sure that the infrastructure for our clients in AWS is well secured. So that's why we help them assess what parts on their current infrastructure that they can better improve on when they move into cloud. So we help not just on the server hardening part of their AWS infrastructure, but also like VPN setup, especially now that we are on a hybrid setup with employees still working from home and other employees working already on site. Maintaining a secure network and maintaining a secure infrastructure for our business is very important. Same goes with data privacy compliance, as we've worked with in the financial industry. So we've also helped our customers in terms of documentations, in terms of process improvements and plans on how they can secure their application without compromising the data security of their customers. Next is for migration and deployment. So as I mentioned before, we do assessment for our customers. So in terms of assessment, we help them plan out what are the relevant teams that we need to involve when doing the migration. And we also help them achieve the optimization. So once we help them modernize their application and their process, this is really where the optimization comes in. And that's where we go hand in hand with the customers to help them achieve their targets. And then for managed services, we help our customers start their journey. So in terms of cloud infrastructure management and also the security management, we can do that on behalf of the customers. If, for example, you're a company that is very relevantly new in the cloud solutions or new in AWS, as your partner, we can help you maintain and monitor your infrastructure while you're training your team to in helping them manage your own infrastructure in the future. So this is parts of our services when it comes to the managed services part, not just on the billing and cost optimizations, but also on application management. Next is for the DevOps. So for DevOps services, if your example, you're a company that is developing your own applications, we can integrate AWS in creating your CI/CD or continuous integration and deployment process in your company. So in that way, the deployment of updates or applications for your customers would be faster and more secure once we include services from AWS. So the applications that we can actually move into AWS can be whether it's for web server type of applications or even if it's the Windows, SAP, and VMware type of migrations that you are looking into doing. So we can definitely assist you on that. And if you're a company that is implementing work from home setup for your employees, so whether they are within the Metro Manila or outside the Metro Manila, with end user computing, we can help you set up your virtual workspaces for your employees. We can also use AppStream for streaming a certain application for your team, and then WorkDocs for routing and auditing the flow of document sharing between your company. So in this way, we can help your company through this different kinds of services that we have. And most importantly, by the way, just to share, so one of the trends that we've been seeing since last year is the backup and storage service. So majority of the customers, actually one of their stepping stones when they're starting in AWS is backup and storage. As we have seen that some companies had some trouble shifting into a work from home setup with backup and storage. We would be able to make our company more flexible in terms of our operations. So we've helped companies conduct some archiving, help them design their disaster recovery for their operations and business, and even the file storage system. So we can also do that in AWS. And then for Amazon Pinpoint and containers and serverless, so these are other services that we also provide. So actually just last month, we've conducted an event for Amazon Pinpoint wherein you can use this, especially if your company is heavy on marketing. So you can definitely use this in sending out targeted content for your customers. Okay, and then for some of the products on mobile and cloud platforms, so these are the solutions that we have developed on top of AWS. So for cloud CRM, care information system, and Sunrise Media, so these are all running on a SaaS setup. So you don't have to worry about the infrastructure behind it. So you just subscribe for the services of the solutions. So like for Cloud CRM, you can use this if your company is handling some sales funnel. So from opportunity down to the closing or post sales, you can manage it into Cloud CRM. If you're a company that is handling, like for example, or clinics or dialysis that are handling outpatient kinds of services, so you can use the care information system to manage your patient records and even inventory of your medicines. And then for Sunrise Media, this is our streaming platform wherein you can run your own like a local type of Netflix. So you can run your contents or medias using the Sunrise Media service. And then Yesbot Chatbot is our AI platform wherein you can put it on your Facebook page or on your website to create an interactive chat messaging system for your customers. to help address FAQs or even conduct simple bookings or transactions inside the YesPo chatbot. And of course, we've also worked with other partners providing solutions like for ESET, Cisco, Safetica, and also Fast Track. So these are some of the partners that we are working with right now. And of course, the the main topic also for about our customizations or optimizations is getting ready for your next level of cloud journey. So let's say, for example, you've already started with AWS. What's next? What else can we do? So this is in a partnership with NOps. So we present to you Cloud Ops Made Easy. So with Cloud Ops, we help businesses manage and optimize their cloud-based apps and services while minimizing the cost and risk. So we partnered with NOps to provide these managed services to our customers and help them identify if they are already running AWS for their company. How do we help them improve their system? How do we help them improve their management? And how do we help them optimize their AWS infrastructure? So with NOps, it's very fast and secure. So the setup is easy. We don't need some agents to install it. So it just requires internet access. So later on with Satish, he would be talking more about NOps. So this is just a high level. And then next is for showcasing a complete analysis of your workload. So with NOps, you would be able to have a visibility, a high level visibility. Even if you're a non-technical person, you would be able to visualize what is your infrastructure right now and what are the improvements that you can do with it to help you secure it and monitor it, and of course optimize your resources. So with NOps and with Cloud Ops, making it easy for everyone, you would be able to have a complete understanding of your cloud resources and then be more focused on the business side and let us, your partners, help you with the heavy lifting when it comes to managing your infrastructure. So the packages, there's a starter and a growth, and there's a professional type of package. With this one, we can book a one-on-one session to help your company assess which type of license fits you. So again, why VBusiness? Because we are a partner who work with AWS and we work also with NOps. And with our experience in providing solutions to the customers, we hope that in the future, we would also be your partner for your company in helping you start your AWS journey and beyond. So sharing as well to our audience, we have actually an ongoing program right now. So it's called SMB Lift Program. So please feel free to reach out to us after this event if you would like to help us assess your company, if you would be interested in joining the AWS SMB Lift Program. So it runs until June 2022. And with this program, we can help your company fast track those innovations and testings that you would like to do for your company. So with every milestone that you achieve, AWS would provide you credits so that you can further test on AWS. And for more details, don't hesitate to reach out to us, and we would be happy to discuss with you more details about this program. Okay, so sharing some of the customers that we've worked with. So we've worked with different kinds of industries and different kinds of segments. So really, there's no limitations when it comes to cloud and when it comes to AWS. We would be able to assist you in any project that you are planning to execute. And feel free again to reach out to us if in case you need some consultations with it. So again, thank you everyone, and hope you enjoy the rest of the sessions. Back to you, Crystal.
All right. Thank you so much, Miss Queena, for sharing to us how VBusiness can help the companies on starting their cloud journey. Okay, so let me share my screen again for a while before I present our next speaker. So before I introduce our second speaker for today, I'll just be launching a short poll just to know if everyone or if any of you is an existing AWS user? Okay, so just click yes or no if you are an existing AWS user. Okay, so let's just wait for some answers to come in. So we see 29% votes. So let's just wait around 70% votes again to come in before we close this poll. Okay, so right now there's a majority of answers saying no. Okay, so let's just wait for the others. All right, 60% votes are coming in right now. So maybe 20 seconds more before we close this poll. Okay, answers are still coming in. All right, so maybe we can close the poll in 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so let's share the answers. So majority, 77% answered no, so they are not an existing AWS user, while 23% voted yes. Okay, so let me now introduce to you our second speaker for this afternoon. So she is handling traditional engaged customers under the SMB segment, and she is a territory account manager from AWS Philippines. So let's all welcome Ms. Nicole Bustamante from AWS. Hi, Nicole. Good afternoon.
Hello, thank you, Krista, for that introduction. So, let me just share my screen. Crystal, can you give me the there? Okay.
Sure, there.
All right. So most of you are new to AWS, right? So I'll just so for this afternoon session, of course, after lunch, I know everyone might be sleepy. So I'll try to make this presentation as interactive as possible. So hold on, I'm just fixing the slides. Hold on. Okay. Sorry for some technical difficulties. It's quite hard using two screens. So I'm getting confused which screen am I looking at. Okay, here you go. All right. Okay. So again, good afternoon, everyone. I am Nicole Bustamante. I am one of the territory account managers from AWS, and I am based here in the Philippines. So since nasa Pilipinas naman tayo, we can speak in Tagalog. So I might be presenting in Taglish. And I see that we also have attendees that are students. So kudos to you guys. Can you please type in from which school are you? It's not long ago that I graduated. So it's really fun that our audience is really young for this afternoon, no? Parang nakasanayan ko, puro mga matatagal na sa industry yung mga nakakausap ko. So, ayan. You guys can put it in the chat so that I can know from which schools are you. But anyway, okay, while we're waiting for that, for this afternoon, I will be talking about AWS billing management and cost optimization. So since everyone or majority of you are new with AWS, so let me just give a brief introduction, right, of who AWS is. So Amazon Web Services is an IT arm, which is part of the Amazon retail business, which is Amazon.com. So if you're familiar with Amazon.com, so we are the biggest retail in the US. So very similar to Lazada and Shopee, but our presence is mainly in US, Europe, etc. Wala pa tayong Amazon here in the Philippines, but hopefully soon. So AWS is just an IT arm of Amazon.com. So basically, all of the infrastructure where Amazon retail is running is on AWS. So for this afternoon, since a lot of you are new, I'll do a walkthrough, right, on once you start your cloud journey with AWS, it's really more of understanding how to manage costs, especially that there's this misconception that cloud is parang sometimes there's bill shocks with people using the cloud, di ba? So it's really important to understand how we manage this cost and start governing properly the cost once you use AWS. Okay. So for this afternoon, I'll talk about rethinking the way you manage IT spend. So the traditional model versus the cloud model, and then how AWS can help you. So basically, what are the AWS billing basics? How do we do cloud economics? And then we'll walk through the tools that are available in AWS for your billing and cost management. So also tools for reporting, and then eventually the cloud financial management solution. Okay, so modernizing IT to be cloud ready. So I think most are familiar with this traditional procurement model, right? Whenever you purchase hardware that is to be used within your organization, what happens is you have a technology team. So the technology team are the ones in charge to create technical specifications. Like for example, if I need a certain server, right? So technical team comes up with how much storage do I need, how much RAM do I need, and then this team gives all of those specs to procurement. So procurement will do bidding, usually three vendor policy yan. So they call three providers. So could be AWS and then some other two providers. And then once they kickstart that procurement process, it goes through their supply chain. So see, supply chain are the ones who's gonna purchase those those servers that's needed by the technology team. And then eventually, once this is procured, it goes through the operations and then back to technology team. So sila na yung magi-implement of this of these servers that are used. So if you see here, in the traditional model, it's a long and tedious process, no, for installation, procurement, everything. And then upfront, you already estimate the cost and capacity. So, for example, I am to develop a new application. Feeling ko, patok yung application ko. Feeling ko, in a span of 1 month or 2 months or 3 months, I will get 10,000 subscribers, for example. So, if I am to buy a server right now, looking at that forecast, magbo-buffer na ako to accommodate that 10,000 users. So, with this, of course, it's unfavorable for experimentation because number one, it will cost you so much money if you provision for that amount of resource, right? And there's a high cost of failure. So instead of you being encouraged to experiment, parang you don't want to scale that much because it will cost you a lot of money. So thus there's a limited resource for you to experiment on. So that's the traditional model. Now, if we go into the cloud, everything shifts into an easier process. So the technology teams and the finance and business teams here work together. So in AWS, so in just a click of a button, so within minutes, you can provision servers that you need. So unlike dun sa traditional, di ba, with the cycle that we saw, usually it takes around 3 to 6 months for you to complete that process. So from building the specs to buying and then to deploying, and then for you before you can use it, it's already 6 months. So by the time might be na yung competitors mo are already in the market, right? The idea that you had was already made by someone else. So with the cloud technology consumption, if you have an idea now, okay, I'll just create an AWS account, free, online, I'll just create one, I'll spin up a server, and then you have your server immediately. If you don't need it anymore, you can just delete that instance. So it's very easy as that, and it won't cost you that much. So again, with the cloud model, right? You have an infinite infinite resource available, right? Whether this is simple compute, this is simple storage, or if you want to run analytics, or if you want to run artificial intelligence, machine learning, all of that are available. So with this kind of culture, right, it really drives experimentation. So here in Amazon, the reason why we are fast in innovation and experimentation is that because the resources are readily available. So for example, if you are familiar with Alexa, so Alexa has been iterated thousands of times. And it's just a span of minutes to do these iterations because again, it's just a click of a button if you want to enable such service. So with this, it also has a low cost of failure. So unlike the traditional model, right, that you have to provision and look ahead for the capacity that you need, here in the cloud, you just pay for what you use. So it's like a Meralco bill. Kung anong gamitin mo na kung anong gamitin mo na much electricity, that's what you only pay for. And then you get a real-time access to your cost and usage data through the available tools that we have in AWS. Okay. So adapting the traditional model, right, to be cloud ready, how do we do this? So number one, forecasting can actually be seen already once you use the cloud. So we do have a dashboard where at the start of the month, so makikita mo na yung current usage mo. And then it shows you the trend towards the end of the month because how we do it in AWS is we bill you monthly. So again, with the tools that we have, you can already forecast like at the end of the month, how much will I pay? And in this way, you get to also set your budget, set your limits. And then number two is you can control. So if, for example, you just want to set this certain threshold for the month, you can do that so that you can avoid bill shocks eventually at the end of the month. And then if you want to trace which services you are using in AWS, so that can be seen in your billing dashboard. So for each service you subscribe to, the corresponding price is there. And then most of our services, we bill by the minute or by the hour. So it also shows you in that billing dashboard how many hours, how many minutes have you consumed the service. And the fourth pillar is oversight, right? So it means that you don't really need to forecast ahead for what the scale or what that capacity is needed. You only have to pay for what you need right now. So you don't overcharge, right? So that's the beauty of adapting the traditional process to be cloud ready. So how can AWS help, right? So this is really more of a 101 on cost and billing. So common billing questions with those of you that starting on AWS is, when will I be billed for my AWS usage? How can I see where my costs are coming from? And what's the option to bring down my cost? Kasi some people think na if I start with cloud and then eventually I scale up, of course, ang laki ng mga gastos ko, di ba? So how do I forecast that? How do I further bring it down? So in AWS, one of our mottos or one of our missions really is to bring down cost of customers. Medyo weird, no? Being, for example, me being a salesperson, of course, I'd like to bring in more sales, more benta, di ba? So if I cost optimize the usage of my customer, edi bababa yung revenue ko, di ba? But that's actually one of the missions of AWS, to help customers even bring down cost. So how? Okay. So let's start right with how AWS is priced muna. So again, as I mentioned earlier, it's a pay-as-you-go basis. So this allows you to remain agile. So again, you just pay for what you use. For example, a very common example, if you are using iCloud, di ba? So you only pay for that capacity that you use. So minsan meron yang minimum, di ba? So same as AWS, we have what we call a free tier use. So free tier is a certain level na you can test it, the libre pa, and then if you exceed to such level, you already pay for that. So in AWS also, you pay less by using more. So paano yun? Paano yun, di ba? Mas marami akong ginagamit but then I pay less. How is that possible? Because once you commit to a certain usage, like within a year, within 3 years, we actually give you discounts. So goes to show in the last point is you save when you reserve. So for example, nag-kick off na yung application, di ba, that you're building. So you see that your usage would be stable already for the next 1 year, for the next 3 years. So sabi mo, Nicole, okay, ready na ako mag-commit. Sige, babayad na ako ng 1 year. So once you buy that resource, it gives you up to 32% or even more. So we have our partners here. We have Value Line, we have NOps that can help you with assessments, di ba? Once you're already on the cloud. So, okay. So AWS Bills and Invoices. So as mentioned earlier, we are billing you monthly. So it's a pay-per-use. So again, all of the on-demand resources are being paid as you use it, but we also have one-time fees. For example, what I mentioned earlier is, di ba, you can save once you commit to a certain usage or certain contract. So that's what we call as reserve instance. So reserve instance has an option for you to pay upfront instead of a monthly recurring rate. So for example, bayaran ko na yung isang buong year. That's possible. And you get more discounts once you do that. Route 53, domain registration. So this is our DNS. So it's also upfront. But most or other than this, all of the services are being billed per usage. Okay? All right. So in AWS, once you create an account, there would be times na, for example, this project A, I create one account. Project B, I create another account. Project C, I create another account. So until such time na ang dami mo ng minamanage na accounts. So it becomes tedious to manage, especially if you are the AWS admin. So we have what we called as consolidated billing. So you can just link these child accounts, or what we call the linked accounts, to your payer account. So what happens is that you only receive one bill during the end of the month. Kasi whenever you create an account with AWS, what happens is that per account, you receive an invoice. You receive a billing. And then you have to pay for it. By default, we use credit card for payments. So you pay for that using your credit card. And then the same thing, if you have multiple accounts, you pay for that one by one. Unlike if you just have one pane of invoice, so the payer account will just be responsible for paying all of those. So the benefits of this is there's only one bill. It would be easy to track, and yeah, easy for you to manage. So here's a sample of the billing console that we have, right? So you can see here, once you create your AWS account, you can see here the spend summary. So yan, at least per month, you can see it. Month to date. So since I mentioned, right, billing is real time. So for example, today, it's the, ano ba ngayon? 12th of the month. So the bill that I can see is half pa lang of what's expected at the end of the month. So you can see it real time here. And even the forecast of how much you would be spending at the end of the month, you'll be able to see here. So you'll also see a breakdown per service that you use. So for example, you subscribe to our EC2, which is our compute. You see it here. You subscribe to our S3, which is our storage. You see it here. And all of the other services. Okay. So now with the cloud financial management, how do you start? How do you start with the cloud, right? So number one, of course, most importantly, there should be ownership. So, sino yung AWS admin responsible? Number one, for building the account, managing the account, and then, of course, settling the financial charges. So, this is where you create a partnership between the technology team and the finance team. And eventually, you do cost allocation enablement. So, as I mentioned, right, kung you have multiple projects, we have to learn how to cost allocate those so that at least you don't get overwhelmed at the end of the month and you don't get lost when you really scale up your business already. So, we use tagging of our resources so it's easier for you to track. And then you see here through Cost Explorer, the cost visibility. So it's similar to the dashboard that I showed you earlier. You can see the breakdown here for your monthly costs. And then in cost optimization, in the same tool, you can also see how much can you save. So it shows you, like, for example, for the month or for this month, based on your usage, this is the amount of savings that you can actually do. So it can go up to 46% in this case, diba? So there would be recommendations there. But a more granular report, if you want that, so NOps will be presenting that later. So this one is just a high-level view of our recommendations. And then you can also do for cost forecasting, again, to improve your cost predictability, right? So, for example, you have a project that you have to request for budget. At least you can already do a forecast, like, boss, this is the budget that I need for this project. Based on what I am forecasting, this is the amount of dollars that I need. So at least you already have that data made available. So, and then lastly, of course, education. So it's very important, especially with you guys who are just starting on the cloud, right? To have and gain as much knowledge as you can. So this is why our partners are here. We have Value Line here, we have NOps, and we will guide you through your journey in starting in the cloud. So there's also a program which Quina mentioned earlier, right, with SMB Lift. So if you want to start your testing in AWS, feel free to reach out so that we can help you. So we also have our in-house solutions architects that can help in guiding you which kind of AWS service do you need. Okay, so first step, of course, in your cloud financial journey, right, is planning. So I won't put the poll anymore because I think majority here of the people are new to AWS, right? So I'll just go through some of the tools. So number one is AWS Budgets. So as the name says, right, it can help you budget your usage for the month. So it can be automated. Like, for example, for this month, ang budget ko lang $2,000. So what will happen is that you can get you can get email alerts that says na, for example, mamimit mo na or you're near the limit of what you have forecasted or what you have budgeted. So at least dito pa lang, oops, malapit na, I'll turn off na the resource so that it won't get billed anymore. So some other email alerts is here. So you can see there like the actual utilization, the threshold that you set, diba? So at least you can properly budget everything. Okay. So in terms of managing and controlling, right? So I mentioned earlier that it's very important to name because again, once you grow your business, it would be hard for you to track. For example, which resource ba tong project na to? Which resource, which team yung gumagamit nito, di ba? So it's better that once you start provisioning resources in AWS, you do cost allocation tagging. So how is that? This is very useful once you have multiple accounts nga, di ba? So what happens here is you can tag them by name, you can tag them by group, tag them by cost center, or even by the usage. So here is an example, diba? For example, you are the IT person. You are the owner of the account. So you can tag your resources that this is under Ricardo's project, diba? In this example. This is under the IT team's project. So something similar to that. So best practice is to always do tagging. So here, if you see how to enable cost allocation, you can see this in your billing dashboard. You could just have to activate cost allocation tag so that once you extract reports, financial reports, you can see how much was the spend for example, dev environment or production environment. You can see it here. So how do you organize and better have a view of the reports, right? So you can see this in your billing dashboard as well. We call it the Cost Explorer. So what you can see here is on a monthly basis, what is the monthly spend per service? And then you can also do an automated trends analysis, diba? So for example, if you want to use historical data, you can see it here in your Cost Explorer. And then eventually, if you want to run um, cost optimization activities, you can make use of that historical data. Like for example, based dito sa historical data ko, I can see that it's just 67% utilization. So babaan ko yung instance ko para at least I can save on cost. So that you can see that in Cost Explorer. Okay? So here in Cost Explorer as well, you can see purchase recommendations. So similar to the dashboard that I showed earlier, right? Like for example, you'll see here, my current spend is 32,000. So with the historical data that I have and with my usage, the projected spend is just 15,000. So you'll see recommendations there on how you can save. So you can see here like, okay, you have potential of 53% savings. And of course, that's beneficial for your organization, right? Savings will always be translated and can be allocated to innovative projects that you can do, diba? So instead of paying for what you don't need, you can reallocate this to things that are more important for the business. So what's reserve instance? I think this one I've mentioned it quickly earlier, right? It's a commitment of usage for a 1 year or a 3-year term. And it would give you a discount rather than paying an on-demand. So ito lang, again, it's a commitment to use it. So whether or not you use this resource or not, babayaran mo siya. That's the downside. So, but on the upside, of course, you get discounts. So again, if you're seeing na constant naman yung magiging usage mo, go for the reserve instance. So this one is applicable for services such as EC2, RDS, Redshift, Elasticache, Elasticsearch, DynamoDB. Okay? We also have what we call a savings plan. So si savings plan has higher discount, but this is only applicable to EC2 and Fargate, unlike Reserve Instance, which covers other services as well. So similar to Reserve Instance, this is a committed use of 1 year or 3 years, and it would give you a discount once you commit to this usage. So how it works, in the recommendations page, can be seen in Cost Explorer, there's already an option there to purchase for savings plan. So if you look at recommendations, you see your percent savings and then there's a button already to purchase. Even the recommended purchase is also there. So if you want to do a more deep dive session on that, please let our partners know. Please let Queena know. Please let whoever from Value Line know, right? So we can schedule an assessment for you. So I'll not go through this anymore. Another recommendation if you want to save on cost is right sizing of your EC2 instances. Let's say ayaw mo mag-commit for 1 year or 3 years. Let's just do on demand. So you can see in this recommendations also that for example, the utilization of the server that you used is just below 50%. So it shows you the best size of instance that you should be using. So again, this would help you save on cost, right? So getting started with recommendations, you can go through the AWS Cost Management Console here, and then there's a tab there for recommendations. So if you want to explore this, you can do so if you have your AWS account. Okay, so here's just a snapshot, right? Apart from what I said, there are 9 ways actually to further optimize your cost. But since majority of the audience here are still new to AWS, so this might be all jargons to you. So if you are on the latter stages, we can guide you through that. So I understand, right? Like with all of these that I said, you might be overwhelmed, diba? Because again, you're still starting your journey on AWS. But I just want to let you know as my final thoughts, right? Like if you wanted to understand cost on AWS, you have a tool, you can go to Cost Explorer. If you want to control cost, you have AWS Budgets. And if you want to optimize your cost, you have AWS recommendations. And all of these are available in your billing dashboard. Okay, kasi baka nako-confuse kayo. There's so many tools, so many tools. So itong tatlo lang yung tandaan nyo. Okay? So I understand every organization is different. I might have shown you scenarios that are not applicable to what you need right now. If you have not, if hindi nyo nakuha yung sagot that you like, or if you have questions, just type it here in the chat. If you want to do a one-on-one session after this, no problem. We can schedule that for you. So just let us know. So I'd like you to ask questions, ask as much questions as you want. If you're a student, if you want to ask me if it's fun to work in AWS, yes, it is. So, ayan, if you have any questions for me, let me know. Again, for our next steps, so there's a lot of tools readily available if you want to educate yourself more on AWS. Just go to the AWS site, just type in Google, Amazon Web Services, and you can see their AWS. It might be quite overwhelming, a lot of information are there. But again, if you want to do a one-on-one session, if you want to have a workshop that's dedicated to what you want to implement, diba? So we can help you with that. Okay. So with that, I end my session. Thank you so much. I hope you learned a lot today. Or if not much, it's okay. At least I think you have learned something, diba? So again, my name is Nicole. So if you do have any questions, just feel free to type it in. And yeah, lahat ng questions, yung certificate, yes, we will give you that through Value Line. Okay, thank you so much, Krista. Over to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Nicole. That was a very insightful session. So we all know now the best practices for cost optimization in AWS. Okay, so let me share again my screen. There you go. Okay, so we have seen here some chats. So the students are from Taguig City University. So hi, John Ray, and also one from Polytechnic University of the Philippines. So we hope everyone enjoys this session as we move along now to our last presenter for this afternoon. So before I present our last presenter, so maybe I can share a short poll again. So let me just quickly launch a poll. Let me check it on my side. If not, Satish, can you help me launch the poll? I'm not sure if it's visible on my side.
Let me launch it.
Okay. All right. So again, I'm not sure if everyone can see the poll right now, but yes, please do click yes or no. So, do you use any automation or tools to manage the cloud? So, again, earlier, some mentioned that you are an existing AWS user. So, please do type it out or click yes or no if you're using it, an automation tool or not. Okay, so let's wait for some to answer the poll. Poll is still in progress, so maybe let's just wait for a few more seconds. I think majority is answering no. Okay, so Satish will later discuss to us NOps tool and how it can automate our cloud um, consumptions. All right, so I think there's a no and also there's some who is answering planning in near future. Okay, so how many percent? 60% has voted. So maybe we can close the poll in 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so Satish, you can now share the answer. All right. So okay, so let me now introduce our last speaker for this afternoon. So he is a SaaS and cloud leader guiding SaaS companies worldwide in SaaS satisfaction of products. He carries a unique blend of experience to work with global SIs like TCS and Infosys, as well as multiple SaaS product startups. He has worked very closely with NOps since its inception. He loves enabling AWS customers to optimize their cloud by leveraging NOps. So let us all welcome now Satish Bora from NOps. Hi, Satish.
Hi. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Let me share my screen. Hope you are able to see my
Yes, we
screen.
can see it now.
Okay, so I think it's an interesting thing. I was just going through the earlier polls and the audience. So I see there is a mix of audience, which is like an audience which is already into the AWS. There are audience who want to get into the cloud as well. So it's a mix of audience. Um, so let's just to start with. Let me start with the introduction about the NOps. So NOps, the way we call it as it's a cloud management, cloud intelligence, and now the cloud automation platform. And just to simplify it in a very easy way, NOps helps you to optimize your cloud environment. So I think those who are already into the cloud will understand the challenge as they're getting more and more new resources, how to manage that. And those who are trying to get into the cloud, many times they are not aware of the different products which cloud provides and how really to optimize that. So ANOPS is the solution which helps you to make sure that your infrastructure, the cloud infrastructure is optimized all the time. And the good part about ANOPS is it helps you to do in a much easier way. So whether you are a cloud expert, let's say you are a solution architect, or for that matter, you are a finance guy like a CFO or maybe some VP of finance, you are a CTO, VP of engineering, or CEO, anybody can use the ANOPS because of the way it presents you the data, the dashboards, the reports, which can make really life easy. Rather than getting into the too technical stuff, it helps you to do these things in a much easier way. Just to give the idea, ANOPS is a kind of a global tool now. It is used worldwide by AWS partners as well as the customers, and there are like thousands of workload, thousands of cloud infrastructure which is get continuously assessed to ensure that there is a optimization. We good we carry a very good NPS Net Promoter Score, and every partner, every customer loves the ANOPS. This is a food for thought. This is something, doesn't matter whether you are already into the AWS or you are planning to get into AWS. So this is an interesting tweet which you might feel. Many times there is a One of the thing is like it depends on what is my workload, what is my application, but it's not only about that. There are multiple angles, multiple dimensions your cloud bill is really going to have. So that's a very important aspect. So I think cloud technology definitely is an advantage, which I think very for everyone. Like think those who are planning to come to cloud, it's very easy to spin up. It helps you to really have your application access from anywhere, anytime. But if it is not managed properly, it can cause a burden. And why I'm saying that? Because what once was a cutting edge technology, which was promoted to use ease of use, flexibility, or a cost saving, has becoming now highly fragmented, filled with waste and time consuming, and they're expensive. Even if you see the Gartner reports that around 30% of the corporate cloud budget goes to waste. So cloud cost optimization is the single most priority in a fifth year for most of the organizations. In fact, 61% organizations talks about that is the number one priority for them. And I think how you can do that. That's one of the things. How you want to do the optimization. So one of the thing is many times whether you are existing cloud user or a new cloud user, there is always a tendency that okay, I know AWS very well. I can log into my 10 accounts. I have a solution architect, and then he will do everything. Or I know everything. I can just do it manually. But I think one of the core principles, which is very important, which we call it as ephemerization, that we should really leverage the technology so that it can help you to automate the optimization, automate the discovery aspect, automate the task, which becomes a redundant, which becomes a manual burden. Because if any task which is becoming a kind of a recurring and a burden, there is a challenge that there will be a lot of things will get missed in that. So it is very important that if you can adopt the automation, that not only can help you to optimize, but make it more effective. So just to give the perspective, what is ANOPS? So ANOPS is a tool. What it does is it will sit on top of your AWS accounts where it will collect the raw data, let's say the logs or maybe the billing file from the AWS, and it will then apply the best practices using the ANOPS AI engine and provide you real-time analysis so that it will provide the analysis of your infrastructure workload and provide that view as to how you are doing on that front. ANOPS doesn't stop at that level. So let's say as your cloud consumption grows, what you are interested is you are interested to make sure that you are building the automation so that you are optimizing all the time. So ANOPS has a couple of layers which we call as the automate and integrate, which helps you to build that automation on top of the ANOPS. So when you are having multiple accounts, and if you want to get a single one view, single pane of glass, or maybe aggregation across all the accounts, ANOPS helps you to build that. And then what you can do is you can use basically various means, whether it's AWS Lambda, Event Bridge, or a system manager, and build that automation, or if you want to build any integration with an external tool. So cloud cost and basically the manpower cost. So if you look into any modern businesses, their majority of the cost element is one is the human resource cost, and the second is which is the cloud infrastructure cost. So if you want to really integrate this particular data, whether it's the cloud analysis data, violation data, cost data, any findings with your existing system, ANOPS can help you to build that integrate. So ANOPS, what it does is it will help not only to analyze but build the automation. If you want to do the automatic remediation, let's say somebody has launched certain instance which is of large capacity, which is remaining idle for a quite good amount of time, and if you want to build a remediation so that it will get automatically stopped, you can do that. So there are so many possibilities which you can do with the help of ANOPS automation platform. Just one important thing about what is the core principles on which ANOPS has built. So I know many of you are kind of new to the AWS or as such cloud. So like any area of work, we follow certain standards, right? If there is a security, we follow maybe a SOC 2 standard, we follow maybe ISO 27000. There are, every field comes with a different standards. For example, healthcare, there is a HIPAA, which is a standard. So now when you are having your infrastructure in a cloud, many times the question is, what is that I can follow so that I can ensure that my cloud infrastructure is optimized all the time? I think good part is there is a framework which can help you to do that. And the framework is AWS well-architected framework, which AWS has launched basically, I would say around 2012-13 timeframe, and it was rolled out to the partners, customers around 2016-17. I think you may have a question, what is this AWS well-architected framework? What AWS has done is, AWS has worked with their thousands of customers who are running the cloud workload, collected the feedback from each of their customers as to what are the different best practices they are using to ensure their cloud infrastructure is optimized all the time. So just to give an example, for example, Netflix uses AWS. So if Netflix user wants a seamless experience when they are seeing anything on the Netflix, they are using the AWS cloud, all of their different services, and they are using a lot of optimization, a lot of best practices so that end customer gets the best experience. So what AWS has done is AWS has collected all such feedback and built this AWS well-architected framework. Just to give what is that framework, this framework consists of 6 pillars. So initially it was a 5 pillar, if you see from the left side, so which was a security. So what it ensures, whenever you are moving your infrastructure to the cloud, it should be always secure so that it is proof from any unwanted access, or basically it is secure from any external attack. So you need to take care of that security aspect. Second is the reliability, so that if at all, anytime, if there is a downtime, how fast you can recover. Are you really doing the right kind of backups? So are you using the multi-AZ, which is like a multiple availability zones, which is in the cloud infrastructure, so that you can always come up when there is a downtime. That's the kind of a reliability. Performance, so that you are making sure that you are using the right kind of resources, and you are making sure that, let's say you have launched a resource with a 10 GB of RAM, you are making sure that it is optimally used. If it is not, you can downsize to maybe the lower capacity. So that's the kind of a performance. Operational excellence, I think if you remember, Nicole talked about the tags, so that when you are launching a resource in a cloud, you want to ensure that every resource is accountable. So every resource you tag with certain naming convention, certain tags. So that's such, there are different practices which can help you to make it your infrastructure operationally excellent. The cost optimization, which will help you to ensure that your infrastructure is cost optimized all the time. And the latest addition to this framework is the sustainability. I think everyone is now kind of a cognizance of the fact about the global warming as well as the carbon footprint. So sustainability pillars is making sure that you are using the best practices in the cloud so that you have the lower footprint on the carbon. So this is a kind of a framework which kind of helps you to analyze your infrastructure using these best practices. So I think some of you might have a question as to maybe for my workload cost is only important, or maybe I'm more conscious about security. But if you have seen the recent examples of some of the large companies and their outages, it's because they are like concentrated only on the cost optimization, or somebody is only concentrated on the security side. If you really want to make sure that your infrastructure, your workload, it optimized, you want to have a 360-degree view of your workload. And I think AWS well architected framework does it in a best way. In fact, that is, I would call it as a golden standard in a cloud, because it is coming based on the actual experience. It is not something which is a theoretical aspect, because it is coming from the actual customer who has done in a cloud. I think the question for the people like who are already onto the AWS, they may feel that they want to do this now in a cloud, but they are not sure like how I can do this, because any times when I see I want to done a review, I want to do an audit, there is always apprehensions as how can I do it? I don't have enough resources. I may not have a people who are trained about that. I think you don't need to worry. NOps makes this life very, very easy for you. So what NOps does, NOps makes this complete assessment aspect very easy. So what essentially NOps does is the moment you enable your infrastructure into the NOps, NOps will provide automated discovery, the way we call it as, and it will help you to conduct this review against these 6 pillars, where you will answer almost these 58 questions. And what NOps makes it easy is it gives you that kind of prescribed format along with the automated discovery, so you can just complete this review yourself with a very, very little input from maybe external team, like maybe a business or maybe your key architect. So that way you can do this very well. I think another important aspect is when you are conducting this review, many times what as a cloud owner, as a person who is managing the cloud, what you are interested is my infrastructure is becoming more safer? Is it really well architected? It is following all the best practices. So NOps does that very well. It will provide that recommendations in a much easier way, so that you can make sure that your infrastructure is optimized. I think the question could be is how this optimization is going to help me. So one is definitely you can save the cost, which could be like a minimum 25% and above. That kind of a cost you can save. This is something which you can do in a very short time. So for example, if you want to enable NOps for your cloud environment, it hardly takes 10 minutes time, which is like running a quick, simple setup, which will take care of that setup of the NOps. And once you set up this, within a couple of hours, you can do a kind of audit for your complete cloud infrastructure. So apart from the cost saving, what it will do is it will provide a complete control on your security. It will highlight if there are any security related issues and stuff like that. The good part is, because tool is doing almost all the work, you are saving lot of money or basically efforts on your people's bandwidth or the time get consumed due to this. Why you are doing this review? Because if you are providing any services, whether it's a SaaS application or for that matter, any IT infrastructure which is providing any services to your end customer, what customer wants is customer wants uninterrupted service, which is providing at a best speed and available all the time. So conducting this kind of a review, making sure that your infrastructure is well architected all the time, can help you to make sure that your business is growing, you are getting a really good customer satisfaction. And this is not a one-time job, because there are new resources getting launched every day. There are people which will get added to your team who will additionally launch some new resources. They might change some configurations. So it's an ongoing exercise which you need to do. So ANOPS can help you to do this in an ongoing basis. So let me just quickly showcase you the tool ANOPS so that you will get much more detailed view. So as you see right now, my basically another window, which is the ANOPS application. What ANOPS is doing is ANOPS is quickly showing you the cost comparison, because cost is one of the top priority for almost any customer. So what ANOPS does differently than any other tool or any other utilities is it will go drill down. It will provide that exact details where that cost increase is happening. So for example, here it is showing me the usage types as to what kind of a usage within the cloud resources which is causing my cloud bill to go up. Similarly, it is also showing me where that operations which is causing that cost to go up. So when I'm deploying ANOPS is providing this me quick visibility. So what's happening is, rather than my team spending a lot of time to manually do this, ANOPS is doing at a click. And imagine you may have so many accounts, you may have multiple clouds, and you may have within one cloud, you may have multiple accounts. That could be a challenge if you are doing this manually. ANOPS, because of the aggregation and automation, providing you complete aggregation and provide this view. I think question could be for you is how easy to set up the ANOPS. It's quite easy. You just need to add the account, which is like I just click on that add new accounts, and it will ask me what kind of account I need to do. I just click on this and I just run the wizard setup. Literally, it takes 5 minutes. So within 5 minutes, your account is kind of get set up into the ANOPS. Once this is kind of a setup into the ANOPS, what ANOPS does is ANOPS will plot your account and provide this analysis as to how your cost across the multiple cloud environments and how it is basically by different angles, whether you want to go by cloud services, resources, usage types, operations, all the different aspects. So what it is doing, it is providing you the not only the details, but wherever there is a delta. So for example, I see between May 8 and May 9, there is an increase is happened, and I want to understand what this increase is attributed to. ANOPS will provide that visibility. Isn't that this is like a very, very simplistic, because I am not maybe too technical, but as any person, I can just go and just quickly look into this, and I can get the understanding as to which business. So if you remember, there was a chargeback or a FinOps, which Nicole mentioned. You want to make sure that every resource in the cloud is accountable. You can quickly know where the cost is increase is happening, where it is kind of decreasing. So this is a very, very quick thing which you can do. And good part is what ANOPS does is that ANOPS has a very, very powerful change management. So unlike traditional environment where you are adding the servers or adding new hardware where you can see the things. In cloud, there is no way you like notice as who has launched what, when, what is the cost. ANOPS provides that complete visibility as to what are the new services, what are the new resources which is getting launched, what are the cost implications because of that. So that's a very, very important thing which kind of help you. What ANOPS does, another thing is providing that mechanism as to where you can save the cost. So for example, it will showcase you what is your month to date cost and where there are opportunities where you can save the cost. So it will quickly showcase you which are the underutilized or unused resources. Because in the cloud, one of the challenges, many times people launch the resources because it's very easy to launch because it is getting charged on every hour, every minute. So you might feel that, okay, it's only $1 a minute. I just launch this resource for 1 hour, which is like, let's say $1 for an hour. I will just launch it. What happens in this scenario is many times people launch the resources and they forget basically to shut it down, and such kind of a resources keep on growing and it can add to the recurring cost. So ANOPS can help you to really identify such opportunities and optimize your cloud basically environment. Another biggest challenge what happens is in a cloud infrastructure, typically it's a DevOps team, engineers team. There is always tendency to over provision the resources. So for example, I require, even in a personal life, many times when you are buying a laptop, you might require only a 4 GB RAM, but we just buy that 8 GB because we feel that if it is going to increase and all that. I think same thing you can't do in a cloud, because in cloud, the objective is that you can use what you need, pay as you go, rather than you just launch the higher capacity. So what you can do is by right sizing, you can launch the resources or the infrastructure which you need rather than over provisioning. So ANOPS will provide you a complete analysis as to where you can right size the resources. And then I think one of the things which you wanted to do is, let's say you are managing a multiple workloads in the cloud. Let's say you are managing a 5 line of business. There is a HR, there is a marketing, there is a finance. There are different departments or different applications which are using the different cloud environment, and you want to really see how they are doing. So ANOPS can help you to do this, whether we call it as a FinOps or a chargeback, and you can do this, you can configure this, you can really get this. This is the 5-pillar view which I talked in initially. The moment you enable any accounts within the ANOPS, it will provide you this analysis and provide as to where you are not complying with that, where there are violations, and everywhere you can get a drill down. You can just click on that and it will provide you what kind of resource, what is the challenge around that. So it's a very easy which you can do that. Another important aspect in the cloud is, unlike in your traditional infrastructure where you were having an on-prem infrastructure where you used to have a data center or your server room where somebody will go, somebody will change certain things. You used to have a change control board or people who will authorize the change. In the cloud, there is no such thing, because what's happening is you are using a public cloud like AWS, and the changes are happening all across, because your team could be scattered at a multiple locations, and more so because of the COVID time frame, everybody is working from home. So when you are a leadership or maybe somebody who is owning the infrastructure, and you want to understand who is doing what into your cloud environment, it's very difficult. But I think good part is ANOPS is there to help you to really understand what is happening in your cloud environment. It will tell you as to what's happening. So somebody has changed the basically network interface. Somebody has launched the new resources. So you can just click on that and it will provide you exactly who has launched, when. You get a complete analysis. So you are always in a control, irrespective wherever you are sitting, and you get a complete history, when it was launched, when who had changed, what was the account, everything. So the good part is, because of that, if you have any downtime, if you have any incident, or if you are facing some challenge, you will always face, you will always be in a control, because ANOPS is there to help you in this situation. So that's a good part which you can do, which we call it as a change management. And you can do this on a multiple ways. You can do by username, resource type, event name. Another thing I just talked about, conducting the well-architected review. So if you want to conduct the well-architected review, once you enable the account within the ANOPS, you can just create a workload. You can select what kind of a review which you want to conduct for your infrastructure. And once you select this, what ANOPS will do is ANOPS will provide you the complete analysis as to what are the issues which is kind of a there into your environment, and it can help you to understand what is the health of your particular workload. And good part is, it's not only showing the health of the infrastructure, but it will provide as to what are the total resources, how many are with violations, what is the basically resources where you are having a tagging, where you are not having a tagging. So you can take the corrective actions. If you want to really conduct the deep review, you can conduct the review, whether it's a multiple reviews which you can conduct. It will also showcase you the recommendations based on the what are the compliance frameworks you apply, so that you can kind of take care of that. So it's such a easy way, without doing much manual work. You are able to do this review. So that is one thing which we have seen. So I think what we have seen is a dashboard which provides you a complete analysis. Then we have seen the different utilities by which you can optimize your cloud environment on the cost front. The change management, which gives you a full control as to who is doing what. We have seen the ANOPS rules, which will provide you a basically analysis of your infrastructure against the 5-pillar view. Then if you are from certain domain, let's say if you are in a fintech or a services, and because if you are serving for some certain large customers, they may be asking you a SOC 2 readiness report. In the sense, if you are going for a SOC 2 audit, it is equally important that infrastructure also is one of the key components for that review. Or if you are a healthcare company, it could be HIPAA, or maybe you are generally want to check how your infrastructure is on a base standard like CIS benchmark. So you can do this analysis with the help of ANOPS, and you can really see as to how your infrastructure is doing with this. If you want to really understand what is the inventory, because in the cloud you can't really go slow. The moment you are going in the slow, because I think you might have realized now, the companies where their IT strategy or maybe the cloud strategy is the one which is driving their business. So what there is a saying now, that before you do your business strategy, you better do your IT or a cloud strategy. So your cloud strategy drives the differentiation, the innovation, the way you are ahead of your competition or peers. ANOPS helps you to really provide that ability to understand. For example, you have multiple clouds or multiple cloud accounts, and you want to understand in that accounts what is the complete inventory of your cloud resources. ANOPS provides a complete resource view, and you can see each resource level. And if you want to write your own queries, you want to understand on a particular resource and all that, you can do that as well. So that's the part you can do. So I think what we have seen so far is ANOPS is not only providing the way to, I would say, providing you the automated discovery, but it is helping to make sure that your infrastructure is well architected all the time. This is from my side. Over to you, Crystal, for the next step.
Okay, thank you so much, Satish, for sharing to us how we can leverage NOps for understanding our cloud consumptions. Okay, so I'll be sharing again my screen, and let's call back again our speakers for this afternoon session. So let's call back Miss Quina, Nicole, and Satish to answer our questions right now. So for those who haven't typed in their questions yet, so this is the time. So feel free to type out your questions on the question box. Okay. So while waiting for your questions, so we also have handouts here that you can download. So please do download it on the handouts tab. And we would also like to acknowledge Mr. Edison de Guzman, President of VBusiness, that is joining with us this afternoon. Okay, so I think we're running out of time, but there is a question for Satish here. So when is the best time to do well-architected review?
Okay, that's a great question. So I think if I look at this today's crowd or today's audience, there are crowd which is like having a AWS cloud already present, and there are who wants to get into the cloud. So there are two thought processes. One is I will set up my cloud, I will set up my business, I will scale it up, and then I will run some review and make it optimize on that basis. So there is a one thing. So one is when you are having a cloud infrastructure, I think it is important because cloud strategy, cloud infrastructure plays a very big role. So I think doing a well-architected review as soon as you have set up your infrastructure, if you are going, I would say if you are going live, if you are migrating from on-prem to the cloud, once you do that, I think you should just do before going to the prod. The other aspect is if you are of a thought process, you are going into the cloud and you feel that I want to start with something best practices. So I want to make sure that I follow the best practices right from the beginning. You see that there are businesses when they are starting the businesses right at the start, they set all the practices, they set all their policies, procedure, everything, and they start the business. So that same way you can actually also I would say do that, where you can conduct the well architected review and make sure that your infrastructure is optimized on all the fronts, and then only you really do that.
Okay, thank you so much, Satish. So again, we're running out of time. So for the three of you, so can you share some key takeaways that you can also share to our attendees this afternoon? So maybe we can start with Miss Quina.
Yes, thank you, Crystal. So again, I would just like to invite to all our attendees, if you are interested for a one-on-one session, so we can help you get started, whether it's your journey for AWS, moving your infrastructure into cloud, or whether you have an existing and you want to expand the opportunities in terms of optimization using NOPS. So feel free to reach out to us after the sessions, or you can leave a message right now on the chat box if you would like us to reach out to you and set that one-on-one meeting. Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you, Miss Quina, and also Nicole, some key takeaways to our attendees.
Yeah, so thank you very much for attending this afternoon. No? So as I've discussed earlier, there are a lot of tools in AWS if you want to get started or if you are already starting. So just feel free to reach out to us You have here the team. I can also send out my email if you guys want to reach out. So if there's any questions, you may contact us. Hold on. How do I put it here in the chat? There. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Nicole. And lastly, Satish also, some takeaways that you can share to everyone.
Yeah. Thanks, Crystal, for I think putting up this webinar. Thanks all for attending this session. I just wanted to kind of give some thought here. So whether you are in a business, so you are setting up your own business, or if you are doing your job, I think cloud is something you can't really ignore. I think the earlier you get into the cloud, that's better for your business, better for your career. I think cloud offers a tremendous advantages, the economy of scale, doing it from anywhere, anytime. And I think if there is a tremendous thing like cloud offers. So if you are setting up a business, you can set up a business sitting at any corner of the world and really addressing the, I would say, the your customers worldwide. So that's a tremendous advantage it provides for the businesses. If you are in a career, if you are in a job, I think cloud is the space, because this decade, if you really see the cloud growth, it's growing at almost a 15 to 20% on year. So there is a tremendous opportunities which cloud provide. And I think if you are on cloud and if you are facing any challenges, we are there with an ops to automate and solve your challenges. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much, Satish, and also to Miss Queena and Nicole. So again, everyone, if you have any further clarifications, or if you would like to set a one-on-one meeting with VBusiness and with NOps and also with AWS, you can send an email to marketing@vbusiness.ph, or you can scan the QR code that you can see right now on your screen. So it's our VBusiness website and also our Facebook page to know more about our promotions and also our upcoming events, also with AWS and ops. Okay, so I think there's no more question. Again, we would like to thank you for your time this afternoon and for joining us for this afternoon session. The feedback form will pop up on your screen once you leave the webinar. It will also be sent out to you via email. So feel free to reach out to us and also send some suggestions or feedback about this session. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. We hope that you have a great time with us this afternoon and have a great day ahead. Thank you.